While playing and recording the games, I take very meticulous notes on everything that I'm doing, from the story as a whole, to my reason for doing certain things, my general thoughts and feelings as they arise. Well, for Final Fantasy III I've lost them all. Not exactly sure how, but they're all gone. And for reference, my notes for both Final Fantasy II and IV are about 7,000 words. So as you might imagine, this is fairly catastrophic. Simply put, right now I don't have and can't make the time to play through it again. I want to keep the ball rolling on the series, so I promise someday I will come back and deal with it. But what I can do is talk about why I'm doing all of this, my purpose behind the series, and give you an approximation of my thoughts and feelings on Final Fantasy III. So the series is currently tentatively named Journey Through, and I want to use it as a way to examine one of the core pillars of gaming, the franchise. And what's the entry criteria to be considered for this ramshackle little series? Just have a minimum of 2 entries. They don't need to share a storyline that permeates both. They don't even need to be connected by anything but title. If they're numbered, I'll follow the numbers and ignore the spin-offs. I mainly want to focus on franchises I've either not played or only dabbled in, but some more familiar ones will be sprinkled in. So why am I doing this? It just seems like a fun excuse to delve into some of the most lauded and celebrated games in history, as well as some of the most forgotten and maligned and underappreciated. Maybe a couple of outright disastrous ones thrown in for good measure. So what's my history with Final Fantasy? Well, before starting this endeavour, 1 and 4 I had never played for a second. 6 I played briefly because Chrono Trigger is one of my favourite games of all time, and people often mention them in the same breath as each other. But for one reason or another, I didn't give it a fair shake. The full extent of my knowledge of the game is Magitech exists, there's a recurring boss called Octos or Grinkos or something, and there's a guy called Locke, I think, and there's definitely a guy called Kefka or Kafka. Final Fantasy VII, I've never touched the original, but I've played both Remake and Rebirth. 8 I have vague memories of. Like I remember the main guy is called Squall and you play a card game, but that's all. I've never played 9, but I know Vivi exists. I've often described 10 as one of my favourite games of all time, but the last time I played it was so long ago that I think every cell in my body alive at the time has since been replaced, so it seems like a good time to revisit. I never played X2, so I'm also looking forward to that. 11, the MMO, might not be included in the series at all. While it is technically a mainline entry, it's in a grey area. Partially because I kinda don't want to. It's an MMO made for consoles back in 2002, with a story that takes hundreds of hours to complete. It just doesn't seem feasible. Maybe someday, when I have the sort of time to dedicate to something I imagine is an extremely abrasive experience. It's not fully off the table, just don't expect it anytime soon. Final Fantasy XII, I've never played, I don't know a single thing about it. 13, funnily enough, I played near enough at launch. I think it was my very first Final Fantasy game. I saw the cover in a shop at the age of about 13 or so, and thought that Lightning looked cool as hell with her weird, complicated sword. And on the back were these enticing battle scenes with cool monsters. I was sold. I remember nothing of the story, and very little of the combat. Of all of the games in the franchise, I'm weirdly the most excited to revisit this one, because I think it's probably kind of underappreciated, but we'll see. I never played 13-2 or 3, but they'll be in the series. I was a big MMO guy for a long period of my life. I still play old school RuneScape to this day. While writing this, I'm actually halfway through 97 fishing at Karambwans, and while recording, I'm now 98. So it should come as no surprise that I have played at least some of 14. I definitely reached as far as the first expansion, but I skipped all of the story, so I don't really know much. With it being so long, I have to imagine each expansion will be its own video. I may even stream the process. 15, again, I played at launch. I took that damn boy band all the way to their destination and back, listening to Florence and the Machine or whatever. I hated the story, but I liked the combat. We'll get there someday. I have a lot of complaining about this one and I can already feel a rant bubbling away, but that's a tale for another time. 16, I played at launch, but not to completion. For no particular reason. And that is my entire history with the franchise, and my plans for what I'm going to cover, and maybe not cover. As far as Dirge of Cerberus and Crisis Core, I'm probably gonna do them. I'm not wholly sure, I don't really know where they fit in all of this. So let's talk about 3. We're 3 games deep, and each has a different leveling system. This time around it's multi-layered. You have your standard level, which dictates stat gain, HP, mana, etc. And a separate job level. Your current job does have an effect on the stats gained by standard level ups. Caster jobs will net you more mana, more intelligence per level, while melee jobs will provide you more HP and strength. This allows you to have quite a bit of flexibility in the composition of your party. But it does hinge on you having a loose idea about which party member fulfills which role. Any character you've primarily kept as a caster job can freely swap between any of the caster roles with next to no downside. The same goes for melee and tank. But if you decide to turn your thief character into a black mage late game, you'll be fighting a little more of an uphill battle, because they'll be missing the extra mana and intelligence that came from leveling up as a caster. It's not impossible by any stretch, it's just harder. Job specific levels work a little differently. You don't earn them by killing monsters for XP, you earn them by taking actions as that job in combat. And instead these levels determine your efficacy with that job. The higher the level, the more physical damage or magical damage you're able to pump out. It even ups your odds of landing skills like Steel. The system works brilliantly. I'm glad the first iteration of the job system was already so well put together. Considering my notes are lost to time, the details of the story are gone for me. The only way I could include them is to take from someone else's write-up or video, and I won't be doing that. Ultimately, I found it a little uninteresting. It's kind of the exact midpoint between the story of Final Fantasy 1 and 2. It runs with themes of light and dark, and the true peace lies somewhere in the balance between them. Destiny and rising to meet extraordinary challenge, all these things on paper are right up my alley. But for whatever reason the narrative just didn't hook me as much as I wanted it to. Design wise, it is the best of the 3, by a large margin. And as such, this is going to be the first B rank. So far the series is overall taking steps forward. Even if in some cases it's 3 steps forward and 2 back, it's still getting better and better. It's both the peak and the final entry in the NES era of Final Fantasy.